Hi, everyone. This is Barb Bruno, and I want to welcome you to this wonderful call today. And I'm so excited that you joined us. You've heard me many times say if you want different results, you have to make different decisions and take different actions. And the actions have to be intentional. And if adding new streams of income is something that you've been thinking about, then you're absolutely at the right place. And I couldn't be more excited to be introducing Patricia Drain. Patricia Drain and I met in Las Vegas. And it was interesting because she was being honored as a shero. It was the one and only time that our profession decided to pick, a couple guys and a couple gals and make them heroes because of the impact they had had on the staffing and recruiting profession. And when I heard her story and saw her up there, I was sitting in the audience going, I just have to make this woman my friend. Like, she's got to be in my network. I've got to get to know her. And I went up after the session. She probably thought I was very strange because I walked up and said, hi, I've got to get to know you. But I actually invited her to serve on a board I was serving on, and we served on the same board for 5 years. And ironically, the year that I was inducted into the Harold B. Nelson Award, Patricia was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And so she's got a tremendous background in what you and I do. In fact, she has been an author, speaker, and trainer in the staffing and recruiting profession for over 20 years. So she's walked in our shoes. She's hit the same kind of challenges you and I hit every single day. She's seen the ups of our profession. She's seen the downs of our profession. And she sold her last company, and she has a 5-year non-compete. But did that slow Patricia down? Never. Nothing slows Patricia Drain down. Instead, her reach and impact, what she's done is she's mentoring business owners. And she's mentoring business owners in our profession as well as in other industries, teaching them how to grow their businesses. And Patricia is an expert on creating additional sources of revenue. And I think, one of the problems with our businesses is we've got so few sources of revenue and we've got all these expenses. And she's also the author of 14 books, and she's got 3 more coming out this fall as if she didn't have enough to do already. And she's the host of a podcast that's now in its 3rd year. And so she's excited. And when we had this discussion, we were talking about what's going on out there. We decided to partner up, and I was so excited to do something with Patricia because, again, she's one of us. She knows our world, and she knows how to create multiple sources of revenue, not starting from scratch. And so please join me in welcoming my dear friend, mentor, and a true powerhouse in our profession. And you could tell I was reading some of this. I didn't want to miss anything because this is really a tremendous resource for all of you. And I am so thrilled to personally be bringing her to you. And so I'm going to basically shut off my camera and just let Patricia take over from here. So welcome, Patricia.
Thank you, Barb. Well, hopefully you can all see me, and because I am Barb also. And Barb, the reason I wanted you to stay on for a moment is because thank you for allowing me to come back to my roots. I mean, this is really what my roots are. And one of the things that I have to tell you is I watched Barb go from running a desk to running a company to becoming a speaker in our business. And then guess what she did? Other than be, because it's probably why you're here, is because you saw her somewhere. But now LinkedIn chose her. LinkedIn, of all things, said, Barb, come, be one of our trainers. And correct me if I'm wrong, Barb, because I think you have sold 3 million programs for LinkedIn. Is that correct?
No, I've had 3 million people take my courses. I've done 18 courses for LinkedIn Learning, but over 3 million people have taken the courses.
Yeah, 3 million people took her course. That's incredible, Barb. No wonder we should be so proud of her. She is a celebrity, a relatable celebrity, but she is a celebrity in our industry, and we should be very, very proud to know her. But first of all, you're noticing I don't have a lot of, PowerPoints going on. It's because this is a master class where I just get to talk to you. I kind of feel like it's like we're sitting in your office and I get to talk with you and say, this is what I did to add multiple streams of income. I mean, maybe you want to do it too, because it definitely brought in more income. I needed something that made me feel a little more secure. When we have a really good year and we go out and buy cars, and we have a really bad year and you want to say, why do I have this car? I've been there. I know what that's like. So here's what I am going to tell you to expect on this call. Basically 6 things. Number 1 is really how to develop MSI thinking, I call it, multiple streams of income thinking. Number two, it's going to be a reminder that we have a database full of people that we'll never place, ever. And sometimes they get upset with us. Number three, you're going to be introduced to two people that I call my pivotal people because they really made me look at something in a different way. You know, it was one of those things where, well, I never thought about it that way. You'll meet them. Number four, I'm going to validate your knowledge, your value, because you are very valuable with what it is you know. I'll do that with a personal story. Fifth thing is I want to introduce you to the possibility of adding maybe a done-for-you stream of income to your existing staffing business. And the last thing, I'm inviting you to come on a free call with me. Now, that's not a sales call. That's a free strategy call, one-on-one with me. And I'll tell you more about that later. But let's get started here. And I'm starting with my first pivotal person. Now, this person happened to be in the business that we're in, staffing, because I told you, and as Barb said, I was speaking all over. Maybe some of you know me from that. I was speaking at all kinds of associations all over the United States, talking to people about getting multiple streams going in their staffing business, or talking about how to relate to your recruiters, you know, instead of babysitting them. I was doing all kinds of that speaking. So I go to the Arizona Association. Now, I'm from Arizona, so it was just down the street from me. It was a really easy place to speak. And I had Sue there, and Sue stood up, and she was one of my biggest supporters. I just loved her. But she asked the most profound question that day, and I'm looking at her like a deer in headlights. This is what she asked. Patricia, what does your company do with all the candidates that we get and we can't place them ever? And I'm just, huh? Because my head wasn't there at that time. I wasn't thinking about that. And all of a sudden I said, Sue, when I find that out, I'll get back to you and I'll talk to this whole association. But I did say to every single person there, we all have these databases filled with candidates that we are not doing anything for them. We better think about it. So you know how I started? I decided to do a survey, because I said to these people, show me hands of people that are really doing something that's monetary for you. It's monetizing you, but you're also helping them. Not one hand went up, not one. So here's what I did. I did this question. Every candidate that I had in front of me from that day forward, I think I did it for like 3 months. I would ask them the same question. It wouldn't matter if there were resumes that we had to call these people. They walked through our door and we had to ask these people. Whatever it was that we had to do, we started asking hundreds of candidates the same question. Here it is. You might want to copy it if you like it. Besides looking for a new career opportunity with us, how else could we help you? Novel idea, huh? Well, here's what they would say. It was really fun. Well, resumes that get seen. Okay, we started workshops on resumes. That brought in money. We took care of some sodas for the fridge. How to negotiate better. Okay, the workshop on Tuesday night is going to be how to negotiate for more money in your business, right, with your new career. People showed up, they paid us money. Okay, that paid for gas maybe. How do you interview? How do you close on yourself in an interview? How do you dress for success? We did workshops for all of that. The workshops were good. I mean, we were talking $47, $97. And, you know, I didn't want to look at a gift and say, well, this was really kind of good for the person that came in, but it's not really an income stream for me. Aha. Here were the two winners. This is what I really had to pay attention to. The two winners, let's say I asked 100 people, but I really did ask like 900. Asked 100 people, and I'm going to say 90 of those people said, what should I be now? I mean, I'm still asking the same question. I'm all grown up. That was one. The second thing was, I know I'm supposed to have a niche. I'm supposed to specialize in something. I don't know what my niche is. Right. That's what I paid attention to. So I wrote the book. I don't know if you can see this or if it's backwards when I pulled it up. What should I be when I grow up now that I'm 40, 50, 60, 70? Oh my gosh, I hope I don't start adding 80 and 90. But people are working longer, so you never know. But I wrote this book, and I decided, I sold a lot of them in my company. You know, they'd come in, and now we're talking 20 bucks, you know. But once again, I put that kind of money stream in a little bucket so I could know that, okay, we're going to get dinner this next month because of this particular stream. But I decided to do something really different with it. Now, think about this. All I'm trying to do is expand your thinking. The chamber asked, there were 5 of us, 5 speakers, and they said we're inviting 50 people. We've chosen them to come, and each one of you will have something different, you know, to discuss. Patricia, we'd like you to talk about what should I be, since you have a book out now. No, okay, that's easy. But I decided in my room, I'm going to do something different. Now, in my room, by the way, I had 24 people. Okay, that's a sign for you and me that people are saying, I don't know what to do. You know, I don't know what to be. Okay, in that room, I decided, and by the way, the other speakers were not happy that there were a few people in their room, but everybody was, at least the chamber wrote a big article about it, about guess what topic got the biggest attendance. And then they put my topic, and then they put my picture and stuff. But while I had these people in my room, I thought, I'm going to try something really different. I'm going to say to them, now normally you could buy this book for $19.95. It's on Amazon. You can go there and get it. But today, and only today, for you 24 people, I'm going to sell it to you for $197. And they're all like, what? And they laugh. They think that's so funny. And I said, yeah, but guess what? I'm coming along with the book. I'm going to be on Zoom 3 different times, personally with all of you, go deeper into the subject, add more content. I'm going to also sign this book for you. Cool, huh? Guess how many people I sold? 24. There were 24 in the room, and I sold 24. Well, I proved that it was a really important topic, but I also proved that, well, I'm not going from chamber to chamber and going into little rooms of 20 people and trying to sell this thing. I just wanted to see how it worked and see that, yeah, people are really needing that. Now, this was years ago, but they still are doing it today. It's unbelievable. Well, I decided to take that book and turn it into a digital download and add it to a 6-week course. And the course is called Your Gift is Your Niche. And we would take people, we would have all of our people go through this course. And in 6 weeks with a professional, you know, we are professionals, and with a professional, they would go through it, and we charged $997. Now you might be going, you've got to be kidding me. There's no way my people could pay $9. They find the money, I promise you. When they're all of a sudden they get to a point where, my God, I still don't have the right career. I've switched jobs now 5 times and I still don't know what I want to be. They will pay for something that finds their gifts, looks at their skills that they came in with, tells them how to monetize those skills, whether it's in a job or maybe it's in a part-time side hustle, maybe it's in becoming a complete entrepreneur full-time. I don't know. I didn't know what each one of them would come. We got results. And all my goal was just to get 7 people, if you can imagine. This is how small I was thinking about it. But I wanted 7 people a month to go through that, because that would be like another placement to me. Our average fee is $7,200. And I thought, good, okay. If I can sell 7 of those, then that's pretty much another placement per month. Well, we started selling a lot more than that, and we started getting a lot of referrals, and from our just the database that we had. We just worked with that, just the candidates that were coming in, and the referrals that came in were unbelievable, because they said, this place is different. They care about us. You can take this course, and they literally help you find your skills and your talents, and then they tell you, if you'd like to make an income, here are some possibilities of how to do it, but here's also how you can do it on the job. Now you can come with your skills, your talents, because now you know them. What's so cool is as everybody was going through it, and my consultants, they would choose which one was going to go through it at the time. They were getting so much out of it, just making the presentation and facilitating it. It was incredible. Okay, here's my second one. I told you I had 2. Here's my second pivotal person. He came into my office. He was beautifully, I mean, just impeccably dressed. He was a beautiful man. He had been a CEO of a very large corporation in Phoenix, and he was paid 510,000, I think it was. The company paid 100,000 to put him through outplacement. He's 6 months into outplacement. He comes into my office, sits across my desk, and with tears in his eyes, and says, "Patricia, can you help me? I'm just at my wit's end. I don't know what to do." And if I hadn't had that program put together, I wouldn't probably have had anything to say to him other than, well, I can coach you, or I can see if I can find companies that would hire you. But now I had your gift as your niche. And I told him, I said, we've been getting great results with candidates that are going through it. But this program, I'd work with you personally within the program. Usually I have one of our professional consultants do it with a person. But with that in mind, maybe you could ask your company for the money, whatever this is going to cost. Now, what I told him it cost, because I knew I'm with a different caliber now. Now I'm in outplacement and I have to think differently. So I still kind of thought low, because 100,000 that they paid to this other company for him to go in and use the phone and run off resumes, that's basically what the outplacement does. But now it's $49.97. If you would like to go through this with me as your personal coach, I will do that with you. Go back to your company, see if they'll pay for that. He goes back to his company. Nope, they didn't pay, but he did. He knew that it was time. He had to do something different than what he was doing. And what he did at the end of the course, he decided, why am I building another company? Why am I going in to build that company? I already did it there, and what thanks did I get? They let me go. So he decided to be the CEO on call, and he needed to get back to 500,000. So his pricing was 50,000 to work with him, and he was selling because people didn't want a full-time CEO coming in, but his part-time CEO on call, he was making a lot more money than 500,000. And so your gift is your niche is not just for candidates. Imagine your database of companies that'll never work with us. I mean, we keep marketing to them, but they're never going to work with us. Well, there again, go into that database and start seeing about, what can I do to help you? Because there are so many layoffs right now, and you know that, and they don't know what to do, and they're not going to pay the exorbitant fees that outplacement is demanding today. And by the way, I was looking at the statistics for outplacement. It's a serious business. It's 5.2 billion in 25 right now, but they're predicting it's going to be 7.3 billion in 2030. So, there's a lot to be said for that. And guess who the professionals are? Guess who they are? You and me. We're the people that are the professionals that can help them, but we never think that we can do that. Now, I didn't call my company the outplacement company when I started really going after companies. I called it, I think, and I can't remember, but I always tried to come up with some really positive words. I think I called it Right Sizing Unlimited, because I would put out information to companies and say, if it is your turn to right size, I didn't like the word downsize, then possibly you'd like to talk to us about the programs that we have put together that are getting major results. And then I do testimonials under it, like, I can't believe what happened in the 6-week turnaround, and they did like the 6 week. Now we could enlarge, many companies asked us, I need to do a 6-month kind of thing. Well, we just tagged on more money and more time, but we definitely did not want to call ourselves outplacement, because we didn't want them to think they're coming in to get a little cube, to get a telephone and whatever they had to use to look up where they're going next with their resume. We didn't want that. Well, now people, I now had 4 multiple streams, healthy. Well, I'm not talking about the workshops, that paid for groceries or whatever. I'm talking about my direct hire, where our average fee was $7,200. I'm talking about our temps, and we did a lot of temp to hire, and so our numbers were quite high in that. We did candidate career development, I called it. It's not a great name now. And then of course the outplacement, which I called the right sizing. And so When I started noticing that direct hire, I mean, it goes down. Temps, they go down. Career development goes up. Outplacement goes up. And so I kept now a more stable, secure company. And guess what happened? Texas came to visit. I didn't ask Texas to come to visit, but they came and they said, we are so interested. We've done a due diligence and we're so interested in your company. You are? Yeah, you're very innovative. They said, you're ahead of your time. Okay. You have systems put in place that really are remarkable. And I'm like, wow. And we just feel you're very special. I'm like, well, I've never been told any of this before because I want to give you the backstory before he walked in my office. I called my very good friend. His name is John, and he's still a very good friend. He was a business consultant. He sold businesses. And so I wanted to find out, is this valuable, what I have here? And he looked me in the eye and he said, absolutely not. This has no value whatsoever. Oh no, John, are you kidding? I have 12 consultants. And then I have, my manager, Shelley. And I mean, what do you mean there's no value? He said, it's all about you. You walk, the whole company will fold. I'm like, you've got to be kidding. I have built this and this is what it is. So I'm kind of like a prisoner now, you're telling me. And he said, well, I'm just telling you the truth. He leaves and I started putting systems together that guy talked about. I mean, I had 27 systems put together because I thought if I'm really going to be stuck here, if this has no value and it's all about me, then I'm going to figure out a way that I don't ever have to come in if I don't choose to, but I'm still going to have streams of income coming to me. Okay, so now this guy comes in from Texas and says something completely different than my very best friend John says, and John knows what he's talking about. So he says, do you mind if I have my, whomever it was, vice president or something from the company come and talk to you and maybe you might consider moving on? And I said, okay, well, that's fine with me. Well, he comes with a great big cowboy hat. Now he did take it off, but it was big. And he came into the office. I bet he was like 6'4", really a tall man. And he comes in, he sits across from me at my desk, and he says, Patricia, we really do want the opportunity to possibly get to have this company as ours because we think we can really take it to a whole different level than you have. Okay, good luck, with that. And he said, now here's the thing that I wanted to go over with you. Money. I don't know how you feel, but I have a number in my pocket written down that I'd like to share with you. And he takes this piece of paper out of his pocket and he shoves it across my desk. And I look down. Now remember, I'm at zero value because of John. Zero. I look down and see this enormous number, to me, enormous. And I couldn't even believe it. I just looked at him. And he just stared at me and I just stared at him. Dead silence. Nothing being said. He grabs the paper. He said, okay, I'll tweak it. Well, I have no idea what tweak means. I'm like, are you taking this away? Now, don't take it away. I'm not saying anything. He takes it, he scratches that number out, and he adds 50,000 more to it. I'm like, oh, now I'm really, I mean, on the outside, I'm this. On the inside, I'm dancing. I'm so happy. And I'm like, still not talking. I'm in total shock. The guy said, oh my gosh, I've never been with a better negotiator. That's the funniest thing anybody's ever said. He takes it back and he says, we'll add this. I think it was 20,000, 25. I don't know how much it was. We're going to add this because we'll take all your furniture. You've really decorated quite nicely here. Okay, maybe I should. And finally, he says, Patricia, I mean, really, if we decide to do this and you decide this is a good opportunity for you, how long would it take you to close up and get out of here? And I looked at my watch, true story, looked at my watch. I said, I can be out of here in 5 minutes. Don't you love that story? Hey, I love telling it because it takes me back to that moment in time where I had value. The moral of this story, people, we have value. We are so knowledgeable and we just don't know it maybe, or we don't talk about it enough because quite honestly, you are so important to so many people because of what you know in the market and they don't. We just kind of don't take it seriously, I don't think, as much as we should. But back to multiple streams of income and you. This is really the first time, and it's because of Barb. She said, Patricia, you know that program, Your Gift is Your Niche, why don't you ever like do it for staffing owners? I mean, aren't they kind of a natural? I have no idea why I've never thought of that. I really mean that until Barb brought that up, because I teach other people how to facilitate your gift is your niche. I teach other people how to be career coaches because that's what they want to be. They want to be people that help another person make money with what they already know. That's important to them, and that's what the course does. They want to help people find their purpose in life. That's what this course does. They really want to help people develop their skills. But the toughest part for these people is going to be the easiest part for you. The toughest part is finding clients. They don't know where to go to find them. I mean, where do you go, Patricia? What do you do? Social media, okay, do all that. But you have them in your back pocket. They're in your database. You have a whole bunch of them. I'm going to say in my world at that time, with the candidates that we had, I would say we probably placed 10%. Now, maybe that's high, I don't know, but it's, what did I do with the other 90%? Well, thank heavens, I finally did find something that really worked for me. Now it's kind of a done for you package deal, you know, that I'm out there telling people, all you have to do is just facilitate them through this and they will get results at the end. I mean, you'll see that they will, because you'll be walking with them as their private coach. Well, now that I have thought about this, what I know for sure is if you add another stream of income to your existing staffing firm, maybe where you're placing temps or placing people or whatever it is that you're doing in yours, it's going to be probably pretty easy since it's already done for you. Now, I personally know that if you decide this is right for me, that you will have your ROI in 5 people. Yeah, that's how well it is priced. Now, I'm not going to go on and on about this because Barb said maybe you can keep this at 30 minutes. But I have no idea how many are on the call today. But I know this. I know that I want to gift whomever is listening to this today or is maybe listening to the recording later. Why would I do that? Because I love doing it. I came up with a formula years ago, and in 15 minutes, I was able to help somebody close the gap on what they wanted and where they were. And it really has been the most beneficial thing I personally have ever done. What I did, I timed it for 15 minutes. You know how when you hear on your marks, get set, go. I mean, there's something about that with the mind, and there really is. Now, I might be moving it to 18 minutes instead of 15, and I'll tell you why. Because TED Talks, you know, I mean, they're big. Everybody, I don't think there's a person on this call that has not heard of TED Talks. Well, they're 18 minutes long. And let me tell you what their thinking is on that. Their thinking is, number one, 18 minutes is long enough to cover your subject in an engaging way. And number two, it's short enough to retain attention. And I can honestly tell you, I have a timer and everything for the 15-minute call. And with you, I am going to do 18 minutes, and we're going to see how that feels. I mean, I can't imagine what 3 more minutes is going to do, but you never know. There's only been, out of the hundreds of these that I have done, I bet there's only been 3 maybe that I said at the end, okay, I don't have a clue right now. I'm not getting clarity. I don't have a crystal clear picture for you. Can we do another 15 minutes? Maybe 3 times. Otherwise, most people are right there. They're in the moment. They're ready to do it. And that's my gift to you. Now, the other day, I was gifted a 30-minute call with a author that I wanted to talk with. And I was so disappointed because that 30-minute call was a sales call. The whole 30 minutes was. At the end of this 18-minute call I'm going to do with you, and it's personally and professionally with you and me, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to say, would you like to know more about Your Gift is Your Niche, the program that's already done for you, the package that I was talking about? And if you say yes, I'll give you every detail about it. I'm not going to waste everybody's time on this particular call. If you say no, I'm going to say, I am just so happy to gift you with this wonderful call. I hope that you get clarity. I hope you have a lot of crystal clear thinking now about what it is that you want in your business and your life because of that call. So here's to recap what it is that I told you I was going to cover. And by the way, the formula that I came up with for this call, this 18-minute call, I did it for maybe a year, and I kept coming up with the same kind of answers and the same kind of questions. And so I put it into a formula, and that's what makes it work. But anyway, here's the recap on what it is that we have done. I wanted, number one, to make you very aware of MSI thinking. Really start thinking about, just like I did with my book, something different. I mean, I think it was like 4,000 in comparison to 400 on Amazon. I don't get 400 from Amazon. I probably get 20. I don't know how much. I don't get a lot from Amazon, but that was really a cool thing that I thought of. I thought, well, now that worked. Another stream of income. I mean, if I want to go out and be teaching like that, I can and make a pretty good income, but that's not what I'm choosing to do. Number two, I told you that your database is a gold mine. Some people call it data, some people call it data. I call it database is a gold mine, both with your companies that you have in there and the candidates that you have in there. Number three, I hope that my two pivotal people got your attention, because their questions, like when he leaned over and said, could you help me? I mean, that just, thank heavens I had something in place to do it. I still would have told him I could do one-on-one coaching with him and would have charged probably more than I would have charged for that. And then the girl that stood up and said, what are we doing with all these candidates? But the most shocking thing about that pivotal person is when I said, show your hands if you're doing something special with your candidates, because this is a little gold mine sitting over here, not one hand went up. Here's the fourth thing. I told you that you probably already know your value. You probably already know how knowledgeable you are. But I really think my story kind of sheds light on that. It's like, well, I didn't know it was like valuable enough that somebody would come in and want it and would pay a lot of money for it. I didn't know that. The fifth thing, I wanted to introduce you to the Done It For You package, because there's no sense in having to recreate it. I think the name of this is, you don't have to start from scratch to create multiple streams of income. It's true. You don't have to do that anymore. And then the sixth thing, I said, I'm going to invite you to a free session with me that I'm going to love to do. And I'll use my formula at that time. And once again, I'll ask the question. If you want to hear more, I'll tell you. If you don't, this isn't a sales pitch. All right, and back to you, Barb. My 30 minutes, well, actually I went 35. My time is up, but now if you want to take action, Barb will tell you how.
Okay, so again, wow. Anytime I have Patricia, do anything for me, it's always powerful and eye-opening. And I've known for years, and you never fail to deliver strategies. And what I want to say to all of you is, you might be sitting there right now thinking, well, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to develop this. Sometimes the best people to roll out this particular source of revenue for you is a recruiter who loves to do career consulting. They love, like, they're not necessarily your top producer, but they're that person that loves to spend too much time with candidates. And you can take an average recruiter and put them in charge of your money making new stream of revenue. And it's just a way to take advantage of that database. And the number, Patricia, right now, as an industry, we're only placing 3.5% of the candidates that come to us.
Oh,
actually. So out of every 100 people that your company attracts, you're placing 3.5 people. I don't know where they came up with the half a person, but think about that. And you think about all the people in our database that we're making no money on. And so I've actually used Patricia as a mentor and coach myself personally. I've done some of her strategy sessions, and she has a unique way. I've always said about my friend Patricia that she asks the best questions. Patricia asks better questions than any human being that I know. She just does. And so, you know, you owe it to yourself to go ahead and grab your phones and open your camera and scan that QR code that's right now on your screen right now, because this will take you directly to Patricia's calendar. And what, you know, when I asked her if she'd be willing to do these sessions, she's willing to do these sessions through the end of this month. So we have a lot of people on this line. So any are on this, you know, webinar. So any of you that are interested, please grab your phone right now, open your camera, scan that QR code. We're going to send you the recording of this, and we'll make sure that we give you the QR code again once you get the recording of this session. But again, this is about the people that take action, the people that get results. It's so funny. Patricia and I both talk to people all the time that want more. They want more. They've got all these dreams, but they don't make different decisions or take different actions. And so nothing is going to change unless you take action. And the first action you can take, and like Patricia said, the whole first 15 minutes is all about you. And I can tell you, Patricia just did this to me about a week ago. She said, well, I want to talk to you about something. And I got off the phone and I was like, how does she do that? How does she get things out of me that no one else does? It's because, and if nothing else, you're going to learn when you watch Patricia do this strategy session. It's an experience in itself. She teaches you how to do a strategy session. So if you ever have wondered, how do I do a strategy session? All her years of experience, when you do that call with her, watch what she asks you and how she does it, because that's worth its weight in gold in itself. It's priceless. So again, I want to thank you for joining us. I hope you go book your session right now. Patricia, did you want to say anything before we end the call?
I wanted to say you have never told me how much you weigh. I have tried to ask you that question, how much do you weigh, and she won't tell me. I
Oh,
told
you
her
asked
I
me
asked,
how old I am, which I never talk about. Yeah, I lie about that all the time. But, you know, again, there's certain things I will not even tell Patricia. But thank you for joining us. We've had so many of you on this line. And I am telling you, this is a gift to you. Bringing Patricia Drain to you, I feel like I've just given you a gift. And I hope you take advantage of it, because, again, Patricia has helped me many, many times. And so if you respect what I've been doing out there in the marketplace, Patricia's one of my mentors. When I always tell you I have a coach, I have a mentor, Patricia is one of my mentors that I'm now bringing to you, and I'm sharing her with you. So Patricia, thank you so much. And again, if you haven't pulled out your phone, you still have time right now before we log off. Scan that QR code, get on Patricia's calendar. Okay. And thanks for joining us. And Patricia, thank you, friend and mentor. I appreciate
thank
you.
you.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye.